Today is April 28th. It's a Wednesday, and it is launch day. We have, with the help of Nate, sanded the bottoms of the hulls, both pontoons. And we also took apart the sail drives, cleaned those up, put those back together and installed those. Have those put prop speed on that. And we have painted the pontoons below the water line. Done a lot of cleaning up, removing rust, painting some parts that we don't want to rust again. Wiring, rudder work.
Wiring was installing a new solar panels and MPPT chargers. But yeah, we've been going full blast at all of this stuff, and we're just wore out at the moment. It's a nice day to actually just sit down, do some odd jobs, clean up, squeeze out of the butyl tape from places, screw down the grill so it doesn't bounce off the boat. Just check the oil level in the sail drives, make sure all that was right and good.
So I have some worries that we go to launch, they put us in the water, and I don't know if they're going to tug us over somewhere or they expect us to motor out somewhere. If we get tied off, if we'll get to be on the end of the T-dock, and if the engines will run. So that'll be the next test.
No.
Is not so much the engines running, but that the sail drives are okay, everything seems fine.
Well, I'm
the rudder
confident
system,
that the engines will run.
the steering system.
We really didn't do much to the engines.
No, we didn't.
So the engines should run. I took one alternator off and put it back on, so that engine should still run. Just if I did something funky to the alternator, it won't be running.
Yeah.
But the engine should run. We know that the water passages are absolutely clear now, which, like you said
Yeah, it's got to run better.
I don't know how it was even drawing water on half of it now. So that should just really help that out. But what I'm worried about is we get halfway down the Chesapeake or run these engines for 2 hours, and something that we didn't get out falls into a bearing and locks that shaft.
Yeah.
And that sail drive will just about explode in seconds.
Yeah.
It'll be toast.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about. Or the other option is we could run it for another 5 years and nothing happens. I got everything out. That would be great.
Well, so something I didn't capture in the sail drive removal and cleanup video was the fact that we don't have the special tools.
Shaft coming down the sail drive. You have to have a very special socket on the top to get the bottom nut loose, which is torqued to 100 foot-pounds just about. So it's tight. And then to get that top nut off, then you have to have another specialty tool that reaches in and pulls the races straight out, because the top bearing is 2 angled bearings, and I guess they're angled like this. So the top race holds the shaft from moving up, and the bottom race holds the shaft from moving down. And you have to pull that top race straight out for the whole thing to come out.
Yeah.
The bottom bearing are just needle bearings. So you need all those specialty tools.
Yeah.
I'm saying you probably need three different specialty tools to get that thing taken apart.
Yeah. So we did the best we can by flushing it.
If I expect that we'll do this again, I will work on finding those specialty tools. The next time I take them apart, I'm going to disassemble the whole thing. Get the rolling torque meter gauge, and just disassemble it, clean it, put it all back together. Well, by that time, I mean, if nothing happens, we can only pray that it lasts another 7 years. And I won't be taking it apart for 7 years, because that's when the rubbers, the bellows, as they call them, get replaced. After seeing the bellows that came off of this and the corrosion in the middle, I mean, follow Volvo's suggested replacement. There is a point to it. You got to get them taken out. It's just not replacing the metal or the rubber. It's about cleaning those metal surfaces so that they don't corrode. Other than those metal surfaces, the sail drives are in really good shape.
Yeah. I'm happy about how it all turned out. It looked hopeless at the beginning, but it looks good now. We'll find out later if
Right.
it all works. You know, lining that spline, you know, the engine to the transmission, I don't know, that was so much trouble. But you would think once that's aligned and it's all together, that's all good. So then the worry is that, yeah, if the sail drives, you know, the transmissions themselves just has a problem, something in it, things like that. Yeah, you lock up and you're going to lock up your engine too. Just got to identify that quick. What's going to be the signs? What's going to happen?
There's not going to, that's the problem. There's no signs. There's no, well, okay, if there's signs, if there's any grind, if you can hear gear noise, if you can hear grinding, or if I go down there and, because when you put it in neutral, that whole shaft still turns.
Yeah.
If you can go out down there and spin the props while you're in the water and you can feel it not smooth, that would be the only signs.
Well, then maybe, well, right now, can you not have it in neutral right now and you spin the props?
Yeah, and they're smooth. They are smooth.
The only thing that might happen is as it starts to actually really get moving, you know, when we actually engage them and start to really move.
And it's moving out of here, out of this little inlet. I think I've got it clean enough that it's going to move out of this inlet, no problem. It's going to be when we're motoring for, that's the problem, is it's always going to run smooth and stuff until something dislodges. Mm-hmm. And
so if that shaft from the engine locks up, would you see the RPM shoot up, or what would you see?
Yeah, because the engine's going to unload.
Yeah.
Well, that or it's going to load down the engine and stop the engine. Two things are going to happen. Either the engine's going to unload, or the engine's going to load down and quit because it's locked up solid.
Yeah. So hopefully it all goes.
Either case is absolutely catastrophic, and you don't even need to pull the sail drive to try to fix it. You just buy a new one.
You just bang your head against the helm and go.
Pull out the gun and hand it to your significant other and go, shoot me. I'm not committing suicide.
So a lot of the videos I've made, I haven't been able to put a lot of time into them. They're kind of slapped together. I guess you say that the YouTubers you watch, they'll put an hour into editing for every minute of footage. And I put in about an hour for the 6, 7, 8 minutes I get in the videos.
You've put more than an hour. I
No,
know that.
I spent a lot of time just getting the files off of my phone, your phone, the GoPro, the Casa, and getting it on the hard drive, messing with the memory.
That's step one. YouTubers figure it out, and they have their process.
Yeah.
And they have typically one external solid state drive that they pull SD cards, they put everything on that solid state drive. And it's all sitting there. And then it takes them an hour per minute
I've
to edit
spent
videos.
hours
just getting it off the cards because you've
I've been brain dead. No, I didn't figure it out until just yesterday on Mac. If I would have done that the whole time, I would have saved so much time. But I was trying to do AirDrop. I was so stuck into using AirDrop, and the files were too big, and the Wi-Fi unpredictable, and then the Bluetooth was having trouble too. I was frustrating myself yesterday, and I was dog tired. I couldn't think. Whereas today, I finally like, no, I'm going to plug my phone in straight. I should be able to just drag them right off. Now it'll be no problem since I figured out a better way to do it. So yeah, I've spent many hours in just trying to get the videos off of the devices and onto the hard drive and clearing off memory, because every time I create a new project in iMovie, it won't have it uses so much space up. Just iMovie
So much
itself.
hard drive.
Hard drive. It uses so much hard drive space. And because it's basically copying another instance of it is what it seems like it's doing. And so I have to clear things off just to do a new project. So yeah, no, hours of just memory management, and then only about an hour for a set of actual editing do I get to put into. So no, they're not professional videos. But I hope to spend a little more time, and now that I've worked out the kinks of uploading videos, I want to do an episode on rudders, an episode on the solar power and wiring. I'll combine that with batteries and other wiring. So that's it. We're just waiting to be launched.